losing to a team that is playing so remarkably well.
Huge 28-3, 22 minutes in, the quickest.
Explain how you can make a profession out of this. How do they actually get paid?
Oh, Guardian, bye-bye! And it's on to Flamey. He's tapped it. Flamey's got a big. What in God's name is that from Stacks? Unbelievable!
Hi, and welcome to the fourth and final episode of Esports, Pro Players and the Law. As I've mentioned before, esports are big business, and whilst growth is good for the legitimisation and stabilisation of the sport, the flood of money has brought with it a number of scandals, mostly around player misconduct. The temptations and controversies that affected other sports in the beginnings, such as match fixing, cheating and doping, are rife in esports. Many esports commentators have looked at why player misconduct is such an issue, naming three core concerns. Firstly, the majority of players are not paid salaries in line with other professional sports. Secondly, the in-game economy allows players to trade off high-value items for real money, and it's created a fertile ground for illegal betting. And lastly, there is a lack of overarching regulation and governance of the sport. So how does a Counter-Strike player ensure that they don't get caught in breach of the developer, Valve, or the tournament rules? Well, at this stage it's quite difficult. There's no sport-wide definition of what constitutes player misconduct. Rather, there are a mismatch of rules derived from Valve's terms of use and different tournament rulebooks and agreements. And what's interesting is that none of these specifically state what constitutes cheating or performance-enhancing drugs or even match fixing. Let's look at a couple of these agreements. So the Valve user agreement states that the cheats are software or hardware processes or functionality that may give a player an unfair competitive advantage. ESL, the league that holds one of the major tournaments every year, ESL 1 Cologne, states that cheating, including the use of certain types of bugs, are not allowed, and lists penalties that can be levelled against the individual and/or the team, including 2-year bans from ESL competitions. Yet, neither of these deal conclusively with cheats. What about if a player discovers a new exploit in a map and chooses to use it? Should he or she be punished?
On home turf anyway, and I think right now, more than anything, they're going to need to simply win this pistol. And they are playing a pretty standard game, although do they have a weird boost going on currently? Yes. Oh my god.
This is beautiful.
He can look over the restrooms as well. This is Pronax being a genius. They did warn us that they had been planning something, and it's almost painful to see that it doesn't work out the way they wanted it to. That's very clever.
But LDLC have no, I mean, they're going to be able to use that in gun rounds. That is huge.
This did happen with Olaf Meister from Fnatic, exploiting a bug to win a tournament quarterfinal. Fnatic later forfeited the win under community pressure. Next, looking to match fixing, the ESL rules state that no players, team managers, staff or management of attending organisations may be involved in betting or gambling, associate with bettors or gamblers, or provide anyone any information that may assist betting or gambling, either directly or indirectly, for any one of the ESL 1 matches or the tournament in general. As for Valve, there's no part of an agreement, contract, or rules that references match fixing or betting on games, other than a 2015 press release which states, professional players, their managers, and team organisation staff should under no circumstances gamble on Counter-Strike global offensive matches, associate with high-volume CSGO gamblers, or deliver information to others that might influence their CSGO bets. Yet before this press release, Valve permanently banned 21 CS players from professional gaming events, and the leagues have since upheld this ban. Despite the vagueness of the rules, the greater problem for players is that if there is an allegation of misconduct, Valve or a league can and have imposed bans and penalties as they see fit. There is no avenue within the sport for appealing these rulings, on either to argue innocence or to dispute the severity of the penalty. Whilst players could take either organisation to court, the costs involved would be prohibitive. In fact, the ESL tournament rules state that the administrators of the tournament have the last word, and that decisions that are not specifically supported in this rulebook, or even go against this rulebook, may be taken in extreme cases, at least in the case of doping and drug abuse. One league, this same league, ESL, is seeking to clarify the rules and create some formality through partnering with the World Anti-Doping Agency, or WADA, to create an anti-performance enhancing drugs policy. Detail of the policy have not yet been announced, but in the 2016 tournaments, ESL undertook random drug testing of players and used the WADA list of banned substances. So for the moment, I guess the message for players is that to avoid any potential penalties or bans, players should avoid the use of all WADA-banned performance-enhancing drugs, avoid involvement in betting and gambling on esports, and conform with current tournament rules and stay up to date with any future announcements or regulations by the leagues and Valve. It's all a bit vague, but with a lack of clarity about what constitutes misconduct in Counter-Strike, avoiding any risk is the best solution. So thanks for watching Esports, Pro Players and the Law. What else do I say? I hope you got something out of it.